All right. Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo Podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. Please continue to help out the victims of the California wildfires and the Texas floods. They do still need our help as they are rebuilding. Today it's a very special podcast. I have Ashley Michelle, who's truly beautiful, but who went through a horrific ordeal in her life. I'm going to have her explain it in a little more because this happened and the way it happened is too much for me to even read about. I mean, in the description, there is the article that was out on Ashley, and I sent her the copy, the email, because the original email that she put when she went to want to come on this podcast wasn't there anymore. So I had looked up the jerk's name that the suspect of it, and she'll describe it a little bit more. And her article came up, so I pulled up her article and presented that in the video description for everybody to read, because it's not worth. It's a shame what she had to go through, and she describes it in the article on her, but it's really upsetting of what she went through. And I shared something with her off screen, offline before we got started. That's I can say just as bad, but that's between the two of us on that. So Ashley, welcome to the podcast, first of all.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on your platform today.
Yes. And like I said, I didn't want to go into details of what happened. I wanted you to bring that up because this is your story. And, I always make the suggestion of, share your story, because, we'll, if you want to share your story, we're open to it. But this story, I didn't want to bring out on my end. I'd rather you brought it out because, like I said, of the details that happened. So, excuse me. It's like I got a frog in my throat. But Ashley, I want you to explain your story. But as you're explaining, before you go into those details of what happened, what led to what happened?
I'll start off by talking about everything. So the reason I share my story is to be a teaching tool and a teaching lesson to somebody else, because everybody goes through and experiences trauma in their own way. And I wanted to be on this podcast and many more to come to raise awareness about trauma and the layering effects that trauma has, because trauma just didn't start in 2016 for me. It started my entire life. It started at childhood. In order to heal properly in life, you have to go through every step and recover every rock that you've ever had to go through. And basically, my trauma started when I was a child, hearing my parents fight and the inconsistencies of their relationship, the dynamics of their relationship really took a toll on me. And I was bullied all throughout school. And then I came to college and I got into a really bad relationship, because that's what I was kind of surrounded by. So what you see is kind of what you know. And then after college, I met somebody at a gym who was, in police foundations, criminology, seemed very smart, had a lot of the same common interests, such as the gym. We were both very much people, very social. And then he left for out west, and he came back from out west a couple of years later, and him and I like kind of reconnected, and his best friend was helping him out at the time because he didn't have a job. He didn't have anywhere to stay. So he was staying between his best friend and me. And on August 28, 2016, my life would forever today change. And the girl I once was completely gone.
Okay. Ashley, before you continue, how old were you when this happened?
I was 24.
You were 24. Okay. Go ahead and continue.
So I got a call from him very early on in the morning. And I went over there because I didn't think anything of it. Me and the person that committed this horrific act were very close, and he would text me at all nights of the hour. So I didn't really think anything of it. Went over there, waited 40 minutes, and he still never showed. And then finally I went, somebody was going into the lobby. So I followed them in, sat there. And then he came downstairs, and his foot was all bleeding and stuff. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on with you? And he kept saying, telling me I didn't want to come. Are you sure you want to come? And I'm like, yeah. I'm already here. You invited me here. So let's go. And then brought me up to the apartment, locked all the doors behind me, and said that I wasn't going anywhere. Told me that he murdered the deceased and that I was going to be next. I was sexually assaulted in there. I was strangled. I was in that apartment for 2 hours. He showed me the body of the deceased and told me that this would be me next. And I didn't think I was getting out of there alive. We were on the 18th or 16th floor. And he was in the washroom, and I ended up running down 18 flights of steps to save my life because one of the elevators weren't working. It was horrific. I literally didn't think I was going to make it out of there alive. Right. There was blood everywhere. It was horrific. And then 2 years down the road was the trial, and the trial was even worse because you find out things that you never really knew. And I found out that the deceased had been alive for 2 to 3 hours, and he just watched him die. And the person that committed this horrific act has not been quiet ever since. He applied for an appeal because he thought that he should have got manslaughter because he was saying it was an accident. You don't accidentally beat your best friend to death. There is no accident in that. A car accident, that's an accident. But this was pure intent. And everybody asks, oh, why did this happen? Well, is there really a reason as to why this happened? Nobody should ever commit murder, no matter how mad they are. Then you go for a walk, you go for a run. You don't commit murder, ever. There's no circumstance or reason why you should ever beat somebody with your bare hands and leave them for dead. And then try to kill somebody else in the process.
Okay, I want to go back to... if you feel comfortable answering this now.
Sure. In
reference to this a-hole, this asshole, there we go. I want to clarify that. This asshole sexually assaulted you.
Correct.
Can you go into, this is why I'm saying, if you don't feel comfortable answering this, it's okay. When he sexually assaulted you, what actually did he do?
I'm not going to go into depth about what he did, but I will say that he said to me, he's like, I'm going to jail for a really long time. And then that was that. And he tried, and I said no multiple times, and that was that. Okay.
And like I said to her, I'm truly sorry that she went through all this. I mean, this is a fucking shame. And excuse my language, but I mean, this is, I mean, hearing this, like I said, when I read the article, I was like, I just couldn't believe this would happen to a beautiful young lady like Ashley. I mean, and I mean, it's hard. It's hard to really deal with this. And I know, I know you went, especially because this happened to you. I mean, it took a lot out of you as well. And so, how did you start to rebuild yourself after the trial? After this asshole got put away?
Well, I think that you have to start rebuilding it by like taking a lot of like self-care, obviously, and being really selfish and putting yourself first, which really truly isn't selfish. In the long run, you have like a lot of healing to do. Like I said, like I had to uncover everything and where my trauma started so I could heal properly. Counseling was really, really big. I was going weekly. I was seeing my nurse practitioner weekly. I was going to the gym, like just a lot of self-care, a lot of structure, a lot of routine, a lot of consistency, and just really focusing on who I wanted to become through all this.
Okay. And excuse me. So, as you rebuilt your life and got better, you wrote a book.
I did. It's called Finding Strength Through Tragedy.
Okay, and explain a little bit more on the book.
The book I wrote during COVID, I actually came up with the title first, but it focuses on the court proceedings. It focuses on domestic violence, mental health. Mental health was a big one for me because I truly didn't think that I could have PTSD. I thought it was something that only war vets could go through. And I was like, I just didn't fight a war. But in reality, I had PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So I talk about that in my book. I talk about who I am today. I talk about strength because we don't often think about strength until we come to these difficult situations, these difficult obstacles, challenges in life. And then we're forced to really think about strength.
Okay. And so you wrote this book. And as you wrote this book, you strengthened up. And
it was almost like a journal entry for me, what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you wrote the book. You had to deal with the court proceedings. Could you explain a little bit more about what happened during the court proceedings? There
was a pre-trial, which I couldn't be there for the whole pre-trial. I just had to give my statement that I had to leave. And then 2 years down the road was the trial, and there was a judge, as well as a jury as well. There was a jury. And the trial lasted for almost 2 weeks. It was very long. And then we gave impacts. We had a day of impact statements, which there were so many impact statements because, the deceased was a truly remarkable individual who would give the shirt off his back for anybody. And I tell this in all my podcasts is that if I wasn't here, the deceased would be here with you having this conversation. Like, that's who he was. He was an inspiration, everything. Like, he was the life of the party. He was very social, very energetic, very positive, very kind, nurturing, someone you just wanted to have a conversation with.
Wow. Yeah. And it's a fucking shame that this happened. And how old was he when this happened?
The deceased, I think, was 4 years older than me, so 28.
So 28. Wow. It's hard to wrap my head around this because, I mean, it's fucking gruesome. I'm sorry to say that, and especially, what happened to you on top of all that. No one deserves to be treated like that. And in the article, when I read it, supposedly the asshole, I'm not calling him suspect anymore. He's an asshole to me. And he could rot for all I care. That's just my opinion on that. Let him rot. I mean, I made my mistakes. I learned from them. And I regretted what I can't say I do regret the reasoning for it, but I learned my lesson from it. But what happened to Ashley, I just, I would never treat Ashley like she was treated. I mean, this asshole wanted you to clean up his mess. His mess.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how did he want? I mean, he wanted you to clean it up, and then he's telling you you're next, and then he's going to probably get someone else to come over and clean up you. You know, if that happened, you know. I mean, what an asshole! And I'm glad he got life in prison. Correct?
Well, he can apply for day parole in 2027, and he's eligible for full parole in 2030.
Okay. Well, my suggestion and my personal opinion on this is let the asshole stay in jail. He doesn't deserve to come out. Or if he does get released, should be put in a mental institution, in my own personal opinion. Because, I mean, there should be no reason to kill anyone.
No,
for any
there should
reason.
never be a reason.
And for any reason. I mean, you know, and I mentioned this yesterday in the No-Show as I was promoting you. Violence like this needs to stop. It's getting out of control.
Oh, it's getting so much worse. There's so much bad stuff happening in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
can't trust anybody.
And I mean, you're looking at a victim out of this, who thank God survived.
I don't ever look at myself as a victim. I'm a survivor and I'm a warrior, and that's the titles that we need to start giving these trauma survivors. They're not victims. They're inspirations. They're powerful individuals. They're encouraging. They're motivating. They're determined. We need to turn all of the negative thoughts into something positive, because when we place them as the victim, that gives them higher expectations to think, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do drugs. I'm going to go to the streets and turn to this, because then that puts negativity on them, right? Like nobody's a victim in my eyes. You know, you're a survivor. You're a warrior. You're an inspiration. You're courageous.
And I apologize for calling you a victim then.
Oh, no worries.
But I will say that I shared her story with our #1 fan, and she has a picture of her that I sent her, who actually called her a Wonder Woman, who made her a true blue superheroine in my case. And I agreed with that when I heard that. Matter of fact, our #1 fan, our #1 supporter, wanted me to play the Wonder Woman theme in a way for her because she deserves it. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that because not that I didn't want to do it. It's just, it's hard to pull it up. But Ashley, you deserve to be called more than a warrior, more than a survivor. You are deserving to be called a Wonder Woman because of what you went through and what you had to fight through to get to where you're at now. And so I applaud you for every step you took in reference to this situation. And, of course, I can't get over what happened to you. I mean, it's hard and it's upsetting every time I'm thinking of this, or even keep it in my mind. So, since this has happened, and since you wrote the book, where has your life gone sense. What steps outside of the therapy and writing the book, and now that you are this superheroine, this Wonder Woman now to all of us, okay, what has happened to you since then?
A lot has definitely happened to me, but I keep pushing forward, and I've had a lot of obstacles and challenges coming my way since with other issues. However, you know what? I'm going to the gym actively every day. I have an amazing full-time job that I love. I'm surrounded by so many supportive, loving individuals, so that helps build my confidence, my self-esteem. I'm busy in podcasts. I have another one booked for Thanksgiving weekend, which I'm really excited about.
Okay.
I have so much gratitude. I'm also really addicted to getting tattoos lately. That's been a big thing for me in my healing journey, to get words on me like survivor, courageous, inspired. Like there's just small words.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Just put Wonder Woman on you.
Oh,
No. That's who you really are. And like I said, you have two more supporters that are always going to be there for you to talk to. And you're welcome to email me if you ever need to talk. And
thank you so much for that.
Shoot the breeze, quote unquote, shoot the breeze, because I mean, this person is amazing, folks. This person, when I got to see, even when I saw the article, I was like, wow. I couldn't believe that this happened to her,
But it's not just me. Like it happens to millions of people worldwide, nationwide.
Right. Now, the other question I have for you, and yes, we're going to dig into this asshole for a second. Was there anyone else during the trial that, besides you, that talked about the assholes end of like treatment? Any other like former, that he had been with before you?
No, nothing like that. It was focused directly just on what happened, and
just on the deceased.
Yes.
Okay. Because I mean, in reference to it, the reason why I say that and ask that is because in this trial they should have really looked into his mentality.
I mean, the police did a deep dive. That's part of their investigation. Yes.
Right. Well, that's why I'm saying they should have brought that.
Well, they gave like evidence before the trial. Like I had to hand over my phone. Like I had to hand over things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, that's what you do. Like there's an investigation that goes on, and they look into everything. And yeah, it's a long drawn process. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. And to wait 2 years after something so horrific for a trial, like our justice system is so behind. Mm-hmm. It's unreal to to court and go through the process. It can take years and years.
Right. And like I said, the reason why I said what I just said now is you may not have been the only survivor of the asshole. That's why I asked that question.
Well, like I said, like the police do their own deep dive and they do their investigation, and then they, based on all that, they, ask me questions, and that's how our investigation here works. They don't bring everybody from the past, because whatever happened in the past, that was dealt with at another court.
Okay.
In another situation.
Oh, okay.
Their only focus was this situation and what happened and occurred.
Okay. I understand. Because I would say, like, in reference to if it was done here in the United States, because you're in Canada.
Yes.
They would have gone back through his past, and realize maybe seeing that, oh, there's more than one. There was more than one person that he might have sexually assaulted, and 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 bringing that bringing them in to question. And I know some of them may be hard to want to divulge, but I'm just saying as an example, of what like what the American courts would be almost like in reference to that. So I mean, not only would they have like I said, deal with the situation of the deceased, but they would have really had him. This asshole would have been in a mental institution very quickly. Because first thing they would do is a mental breakdown of him.
Well, that's what they do in jail here. They do that in jail here. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they did do a mental evaluation. Of course, they would do a mental evaluation.
Yes.
But I mean, they would, if they wind up finding that you're not the only, survivor of his wrath, it would be brought out at that time during the trial. But I'm saying that would be happening.
Yeah, again, no, the trial was just focused on what happened on that specific day.
Okay. So you're getting better. You're going to the gym without any consequences. Do you still have any fears, even way after this is happening right now?
Fears that like he'll get out, because there are a lot of murderers and stuff that have gotten out. Mm-hmm. That's my only fear. But I try to like live for the here and the now. I can't look into the past. I can't change it. I can't switch it. Right. All I can do is focus on what is happening here and what is happening around me at this specific moment.
Oh, okay.
I can only control what I can control in my life.
Great. That's the best thing. And that's something that I've had to learn.
Like, I can't control other people's behaviors, mindsets. I can't.
Right. But I know that you're going to be preparing to probably be. Oh, I can't. You will probably eventually have to deal with the asshole again when those times come.
Yeah.
And I really hope that Wonder Woman in you, that you really are, and that who you've become, will stand up and put the asshole back in his place. Because like I said, in my own opinion, he don't deserve any type of freedom after what he did.
No murderer does. No murderer deserves to walk the streets after.
Yeah, but not just that, but what he did to you. I mean, I can't even put myself in his position to even straighten out in a relationship type way on it, because I will say, in my own personal opinion, I would never treat you like this asshole treated you. I would never done what this asshole did. And I'm not saying it because, I just saying it because that's who I am. I'm a person who supports, who stands by their person, by their significant other. Not turn around and murder their best friend and then sexually assault their significant other and telling them they're next, because who knows, some cuckoo let into him, some spring let loose in his mentality, or and I wish that the courts really went into that and even explained that, hey, we did this mental evaluation on him and this is what came out. This is what we learned. And this
But
is
that's
what...
not really what they do in the trial. They do that more when they go in and get incarcerated in our system. The trial just is on like that's all the stuff that they do in jail. The trial just really focuses on like what happened that day. What did he say at this time? What did he do at that time? Like it's very like detail oriented from what came out of the event.
Yeah. And I didn't want to go back to it, but when you saw the deceased, did he explain to you, did the asshole explain to you why it happened?
No, I didn't really. I was just like, and I will say this, I've said this in every podcast, I really had to be cool, calm, and collective. I had to hold my composure because the minute you show fear to these individuals, that's when they take control over you, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
I really had to like take a breath, take a moment. I just kept saying positive things to the person that went to jail for this crime. Just kept saying positive things, just trying to like stay sane for myself to keep myself alive.
Okay. So when you saw the deceased, the question I really had was how was it done? Was it a gunshot?
No. I spoke about this previous. He beat him.
Oh, sorry.
That's what happened.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't catch it then. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't catch that. All right, so now we discussed what's next for Ashley. Explain. You mentioned you're really happy about this podcast that you're going on Thanksgiving weekend. Can you want to explain a little bit more?
Sure. Yeah. His name is Kevin. He reached out to me and, he's in the States as well. And, he asked me to be a part of his podcast and I said, absolutely. So I'm really excited about that opportunity. And, my friend, David Keck, actually, he, does podcasts too. I was recently on his podcast and he's doing well. He's also a survivor of crime. And so he and I have done multiple projects throughout the years together. So we'll probably keep doing projects. So again, like I'm really surrounded by so many inspirational people that I just can have a conversation like this with. And it's really nice to be able to have that conversation, share my story with the world. So that way other survivors can relate to me because this is this isn't just an Ashley situation. This is a worldwide epidemic that is on the rise. Like people are getting killed and murdered every day. And there's so many survivors left, fighting for their lives, fighting for healing, fighting for opportunity. And now the proceeds of my book, they actually go to the police station and they buy the gift cards for people that, can't afford things right now. So that is my avenue, is to help as many people as I possibly can. That is my number one goal, is because I'm not alone in this. Like there's so many people going through, experiencing these, having these same emotions. And that's the reason I share my story with the world. Isn't to be some superhero, but thank you. It's more so people can be like, oh, I relate to her. I relate to that emotion. I relate to what she said. I related to the police experience. I want to be that relatable person that people can feel free and safe to open up to.
Well, and that's the best thing possible in reference to that. And like I said to you, you have 2 more people that will be there for you if you need to reach out to.
Thank you.
Because again, you didn't deserve what happened. Nobody deserves what happens.
No, absolutely not.
So how could, if any other survivors want to reach out to you and maybe you know, like I would say about psychiatrists and all that, picking their brains. How can people reach out to you if they want to reach?
Yes. So I have a Facebook page. It's Ashley Inspires. I also have a group, Finding Strength Through Tragedy. I also have my own YouTube channel as well, Ashley Inspires. And then I have a website, ashleyinspires.ca. You can go on there as well. And then TikTok, Ashley Inspire as well. Not Inspires, just Inspire on TikTok. And people can reach out, send me messages. I'm all for helping others. I actually get a lot of feedback on my videos on TikTok lately. And people have been like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. I went through that. I experienced that. And again, that's what I love to see, and knowing that I can help somebody else by sharing some of the experiences that I went through in life. And not even just that 2016 situation, but like experiences with like, not having a healthy family dynamic and stuff like that. Just being that person that can, open up about my experiences in life and what I've learned from them.
Okay. So ashleyinspires.ca. If you had gone through something similar as Ashley's and you want to reach out to her because, hey, this person got through, maybe she can help me, reach out to her. She knows that she has 2 extra people now, like I said, on her side that she could always turn to. And, if, to talk to, even to shoot the breeze and, like, how you doing, all that stuff, we'll be there. We will be there. And I mean, like I'm saying now to her of how beautiful she truly is. But as I got to know her via the article, and like I said, who I shared it with, we both realized that she's more than just a warrior, more than just a survivor. She is a superheroine. And even though she doesn't want to put herself into that position, she deserves to be that position because of the fight that she went through and the fight she's, this battle that she went through and how she served, and mainly more of why the 2 people that I'm, she knows which 2, which include myself, call her a superheroine is because of being the warrior, of being that survivor, of standing up and saying, hey, this isn't right. And so, in reference to the book, in reference to the website, in reference to the Facebook, in reference to the YouTube channel, and definitely check out her YouTube channel as well. She didn't tell me this, otherwise I would have subscribed myself. But definitely, if you have gone through something like this, reach out to Ashley because she could really be that boost you really need. She can give you the support you really need to overcome the fears, overcome the tragedy, and prepare for what's next. And like Ashley said, she's living for now. She's not living for when the asshole goes for parole. Okay. And I'm happy for that. And she has my personal opinion of where that's going with that idea. And I couldn't feel any more remorse for what she went through. And I applaud her. I applaud Ashley for the steps she took, how she survived, how she became that Wonder Woman, that superheroine that she really is, and that she can really show in via the website, the YouTube channel, the podcast that she goes on. Because superheroines do make a difference one way or another. And I know Ashley can do that. She's explained it. And I believe that, she will get stronger. I believe that, she may be able to be comfortable having relationships again. I'm just saying this, in general, Ashley. I'm not saying if this is true or not. Okay. But if you really want to talk to someone who's gone through hell, literally, I'll say it. And I'm not ashamed to say it. This young lady went through hell and high water to the point where she wouldn't have been here. To step up, be the survivor, be that warrior, which in turn makes her a true blue superheroine in her own way. And Ashley, I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
You're truly welcome. And like I said, you have 2 extra people that are there for you that you could always reach out to for in any way. She knows the second person, like I said. And who knows, maybe you two can share stories. That's, with the second person that I mentioned to her. Because there are stories that, she may share with you. That, So, and you're always welcome to come back on this podcast at any time, Ashley.
Thank you.
Because, and again, I'm at the same time that I'm saying that you're welcome to come back on, I'm also apologizing if there's any parts of what I'm saying to you or about you that could make you uncomfortable. I do apologize for that. I mean, I just what you went through really just boils me. It does. And
Thank you.
Like I said, if it was me, I would never have done that to anyone. I never would treat anyone like that either. So, like I said, I apologize if I put myself in that position that makes you uncomfortable with it. I mean, I'm just saying it to just get it, just to elaborate, the horror that you went through. I mean, to actually be shown a deceased body, to go through the trial and going through the investigations, and the stress that it put on you, and to come out being a true blue Wonder Woman is the best thing. And, like I said, you're welcome to come back on here. All you have to do is just let me know. We will
absolutely
schedule it right then and there.
For sure.
Because there may be more coming out of Ashley that, she would want to share with us. Or even to the point. Now, I'm going to ask this really quick as we're going out. And she gave me her opinion, but I wanted her to give her opinion to you of why this was an idea that I presented to her. And I said to Ashley, I said, why couldn't you do a podcast of your own to where you could gather do like a town hall like I've done on Scleroderma. Gather like fellow survivors and sit down and talk. Even if you wanted to do it on this podcast, I'm welcome to do that. Just to let you know. If you reached out to survivors and that want to share their story just like you did yours, I'm welcome to do that as a town hall type that, and really talk about the domestic violence and so on.
Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
But let's hear the reason why she wasn't interested in doing her own podcast.
Because I like going and applying to be on different podcasts, and I have my own, just based on everything right now with my job. Like, I leave my house at like 6:45 in the morning and don't really come home till 8 o'clock at night during the week. Okay. So I really have my weekends, and on my weekends, I like to work on my blogs for my website. I like to be on podcasts. I just feel like for me right now, personally, that's not the route that I want to go down.
Okay.
I prefer to be the guest.
You rather be on that. You rather be on the interviewing side.
Yeah. Yes.
But
I love it. Yes.
Yeah. But we did our best here to keep it in a conversation type form, so that you didn't feel like you were on the hot seat. No,
absolutely.
Yeah. And so, like I'm saying, if you feel comfortable enough that you want to bring out a discussion on domestic violence or some type of topic, and you gather up other survivors that reach out to you and would be interested in coming on with you, like I said, I'd be happy to host that for you.
Thank you.
Because this needs to come out. I mean, domestic violence is bad. Any type of violence is bad. I mean, and it's so out of control to the point now where, and I've mentioned this so many times, even kids aren't even safe, and that's not even right, because this is the future of our world right here. This young lady is one part of the future of our world. Okay. And for what she went through, I couldn't deal with it, because all I kept feeling was remorse and this, and the sympathy and feeling bad. But at the same time, I'm proud that she came on this podcast, told her story, and corrected me that she's not a victim, but a warrior, a survivor, but a superheroine as well. And that I will always applaud her to.
Thank you.
All right. And again, Ashley, I thank you for coming on here. I'm doing my best to keep myself together through all this, because I can't stop thinking of what you went through and how you were treated. And I know things are going to be better for you.
Thank you.
Because I believe in you.
Thank you.
And if someone never tells you that, even in a future relationship, you know of two that would, especially one that called you a superheroine. You always will be believed in, and there will always be faith in you, because we know you can handle it, because you are a Wonder Woman deep down inside. It's more than the warrior. It's more than the survivor. It's the Wonder Woman in you, because we know, and even through those that came to you and gave feedback on your story, if they haven't told you that you're a Wonder Woman, you're being told now. And I really hope that deep down, you really feel that, because that being that, you being told that you're a Wonder Woman, okay, a superheroine, really strengthens up the other two parts of who you are. The survivor, the warrior. The superheroine just puts them together and strengthens it. So when you ever feel that, you're putting yourself in fear, go right into that superheroine, persona inside your mind,
Thank you.
Because that will strengthen up the other two and get you forward to where you're at. And you're truly welcome, Ashley. And like I said, I know things will be better for you. And and like I said, I believe that it will happen. That you will be much better, and that she'll come back on this podcast and say, Joey, I took some steps forward that even being the superheroine inside of me could never have faced. And, we will welcome that, and we will applaud that. And we will applaud every step you take, Ashley, because you deserve the support that you've got right now, +2. And if we're not saying it enough, we will always love you, because that's another thing that the support needs to do, is love you for who you are.
Thank you.
No matter what steps you take.
Thank you.
And definitely be that Wonder Woman that you are, that you were told that you've been.
I really appreciate all your kind and thoughtful words. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And thank you, everybody, for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. God bless you all.